Sansad Showdown.
आप बैठ जाएं।
Vande Mataram controversy erupts.
वंदे मातरम राष्ट्र के प्रति हमारे कर्तव्य को उजागर कर और आज तो हमारा वोट भी सुरक्षित नहीं।
वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
Prime Minister Modi takes on opposition.
वंदे मातरम के टुकड़े करने के फैसले में वंदे मातरम के टुकड़े कर दिए।
Opposition strikes back.
हमारा राष्ट्रगीत है, इस पर क्या बहस हो सकती है? हम ये बहस यहाँ आज दो वजहों से कर रहे हैं। पहला कि बंगाल का चुनाव आ रहा है, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री अपनी भूमिका निभाना चाहते हैं उसमें।
जिन्होंने आजादी के आंदोलन में भाग ही नहीं लिया है, वो वंदे मातरम का महत्व क्या जानेंगे?
National song, national firestorm.
Good evening. You're watching To The Point with me, Maria Shakeel. The Parliament showdown over the national song Vande Mataram leads our top stories. Prime Minister Modi fired salvo at the opposition and they hit back in equal measure. We'll dive into that shortly, but first, here's a look at all the headlines today. Vande Mataram debate in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Modi targets Nehru and Congress, saying first Vande was partition, then India. Congress MP Gandhi retorts that the government is distracting from real issues. IndiGo responds to massive flight mess. Sources say letter is highly guarded and senior officials likely to assemble this evening. Goa cops summon senior government officers to join nightclub fire probe over lapses and violations. 5 accused arrested, owners still on the run. Who is to be blamed for 25 deaths? And DMK's war on judge who allowed Deepam at Madurai Hill Shrine. DMK moves to impeach Justice Swaminathan. Group of advocates held a protest outside Madras High Court against the judge. Court acquits Malayalam actor Dilip of rape charges. Court says Malayalam actor Dilip not guilty. Dilip was accused of abducting, raping actor. Dilip let off, but 6 others are accused guilty. The parliament today erupted in a historic 10-hour Lok Sabha debate marking 150 years of the Vande Mataram, the fiery national song that fueled the freedom struggle from Bankim Chandra's 1875 novel Anand Mat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi opened with a powerful tribute, hailing it as a sacred war cry that united Hindus and Muslims against the British rule, while slamming the Congress for truncating its verses in 1937 under Nehru's leadership to appease Jinnah's Muslim League objections. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh echoed that the song was post-independence marginalized like an extra as Congress elevated Jan Gan Man, prompting sharp retort coming in from Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who questioned the debate's timing amidst Bengal polls, and MPs like Jebi Mather of the Congress party defending it as emotionally patriotic for all Indians. This clash revived old wounds over patriotism, unity and appeasement. But does Vande Mataram's full glory deserve revival? Or does politicizing it deepen divides in modern India? That's my question on the show tonight. But first, here's what happened in the parliament today.
This year marks 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram. chant that became focal point of India's freedom struggle. A symbol of unity, freedom and patriotism is now at the center of a political storm. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday initiated a discussion on the national song in the Lok Sabha.
गीत की ताकत कितनी होगी? अंग्रेजों ने उसको कानूनी रूप से प्रतिबंध लगाने के लिए मजबूर होना पड़ा था। गाने पर सजा, छापने पर सजा, इतना ही नहीं, वंदे मातरम शब्द बोलने पर भी सजा। इतने कठोर कानून लागू कर दिए गए थे।
Prime Minister lashed out at the Congress for omitting stanzas and accused Jawaharlal Nehru of succumbing to pressure from the Muslim League.
वंदे मातरम के टुकड़े कर दिए। उस फैसले के पीछे नकाब ये पहना गया, चोला ये पहना गया। ये तो सामाजिक सद्भाव का काम है। लेकिन इतिहास इस बात का गवाह है कि कांग्रेस ने मुस्लिम लीग के सामने घुटने टेक दिए।
The BJP questioned Rahul Gandhi for missing the debate.
While the Prime Minister was speaking, most of the top leaders of the BJP were present. There were many present from the Samajwadi Party, from the Congress and from the other opposition parties. Even a lot of top leaders from the TMC were present. But those who were missing, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. They were not present when the Prime Minister was speaking on Vande Mataram. Prime Minister spoke that there were historical facts that were being distorted by Jawaharlal Nehru and also spoke about the fact that Vande Mataram should once again become a uniting force and the country should now stand united.
The opposition hit back at Prime Minister Modi, calling the Vande Mataram row a manufactured diversion ahead of elections. Priyanka Gandhi says the debate was unnecessary, accusing the Prime Minister of sidestepping real issues and making fact-free speeches.
अगर आप इजाजत दें तो मैं बोलूं, हमारा राष्ट्र गीत है, इस पर क्या बहस हो सकती है? हम ये बहस यहाँ आज दो वजहों से कर रहे हैं। पहला कि बंगाल का चुनाव आ रहा है, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री अपनी भूमिका निभाना चाहते हैं उसमें। देश का ध्यान फिर से जनता के ज्वलंत मुद्दों से भटकाना चाहती है। यही एक मकसद है आपका।
Samajwadi MP Akhilesh Yadav echoed the charge, warning that Vande Mataram is being politicized, accusing the BJP of divide and rule tactics.
वंदे मातरम कोई दिखावा नहीं है, ना ही राजनीति का विषय है। कभी अंग्रेज विवाद कर करके, डिवाइड कर करके, डिवीजन कर करके राज किया करते थे। सभापति महोदय, आज भी वही रास्ता कुछ लोग अपना रहे हैं। वो डिवीजन का रास्ता अपना रहे हैं, डिवाइड का रास्ता अपना रहे हैं।
With another day of debate on Vande Mataram in Rajya Sabha on Tuesday, more fireworks are expected in the parliament. With Ashwarya Paliwal, Bureau Report, India Today.
Why you are worried about them? You speak.
Joining me now is Pradeep Bhandari, National Spokesperson of the BJP. We have Jebi Mather, Congress MP of the Rajya Sabha, joining us on this broadcast. Pradeep Bhandari, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has questioned the timing of this entire debate. Why are we having this debate is what she asked. How do you counter claims that it's purely a ploy of the BJP for electoral gains in Bengal rather than a genuine national tribute?
Well, Maria, anything which is patriotic and nationalistic and it is to do with patriotism, the Congress party will always have a problem. I understand the Congress party's pain because when Vande Mataram completed 100 years, Sonia Gandhi personally did not attend the event. And in 2006, when there was a private members bill in order to discuss and celebrate Vande Mataram, it was Congress party and then Education Minister and then Minister Arjun Singh who opposed it, and the Congress party historically has opposed it. But what is the fact? The fact is that nations who do not learn from their history cannot make a great future. And our generation need to know the following fact. Is it true or not that both Hindus and Muslims sang for 41 years the entire version of Vande Mataram? Is it true or not that Gurudev Rabindranath Thakur, when he sang the entire Vande Mataram in 1896, the president of the Congress party was a Muslim, Rahmatullah Sayani? Is it true or not that the opposition of the Muslim League in 1823 forced Jawaharlal Nehru to go down to the pressure of the Muslim League in 1937, and further it got opposition from Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and Lala Lajpat Rai? In fact, in order to quote Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and I quote Subhash Chandra Bose went ahead and said to Jawaharlal Nehru, "You and the Congress party, the working committee under you have yielded to communal pressure in matters of Vande Mataram. This is a dangerous precedent. Just years after this, you had the partition of India." Is it true or not that on 20th October 1937, Jawaharlal Nehru wrote a letter saying that Vande Mataram would irritate the Muslims? So this nation needs to know that if Hindus and Muslims who sang it together in 1905 opposing the partition of Bengal by the Britishers, what was the urgent need of Jawaharlal Nehru to make it a Hindu-Muslim issue?
Respond to this, because you have called Vande Mataram deeply emotional and patriotic for every Indian. Then how does the Congress reconcile this with the 1937 Congress Working Committee truncation, a collective decision involving Gandhi, Nehru, opposed by some Muslim leaders to appease Jinnah, as Prime Minister Modi alleged?
Today, Priyanka Gandhiji's words echoed in Parliament is the feeling of every right-minded Indian, is what I believe in. Vande Mataram is definitely an emotion for everyone, and Vande Mataram is now bringing this into discussion. There is a lot of agendas behind it, and now the spokesperson of BJP saying that anything to do with patriotism, Congress has problem. I totally disagree to that and say if there's any party which can claim the right to speak about freedom struggle and the patriotism, is definitely the Congress party. They can change the textbooks, they can write new history, but the fact remains the Congress contribution. Congress leaders of Congress party's contribution can never be written off. Now, coming to your question that regarding Vande Mataram, today Priyanka Gandhiji has very categorically stated how it all happened and what was the real situation and how this decision was reached. Now, if Modi ji claims that such two stanzas, this was a compromise or sowing the seeds of division, is he accusing Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel? Is he accusing Nehru? Is he accusing Azad? Is he accusing Mahatma Gandhi? These are the leaders who fought for the country, and now they want to accuse these leaders. Why is BJP now bringing in retroactively this kind of questions and communalizing a decision? So they have their own agenda. Now also, let me also say...
Pradeep Bhandari. One moment, ma'am. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you, ma'am. Let Pradeep Bhandari respond. You know, is it some kind of hypocrisy of the BJP?
Well, Maria, this mindset of why are we discussing now? If you recall, for 70 years, the Congress party did not even had a Constitution Day discussing about the contribution of our Constitution maker like Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar. So the Nehru-Gandhi Vadra family thinks that nothing can be discussed about our freedom struggle except Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, let me quote facts here. The fact is the following. In 1946 in Guwahati, Mahatma Gandhi says, and I quote, that Vande Mataram is the soul of India's freedom struggle. Vande Mataram should not be truncated. It represents the sacrifice and patriotism of our freedom fighters. So whether it is Mahatma Gandhi or in fact Lala Lajpat Rai had it translated in Urdu and in Punjabi. So whether it is Hindus, Muslims or Punjabis, everybody sang Vande Mataram in Punjab under Lala Lajpat Rai. So the question needs to be asked that why did Jawaharlal Nehru on his own when he was the president of the Congress party in a session truncated the version, because it is the Hindus and the Muslims who together were united in this fight against the Britishers using Vande Mataram as a clarion call.
Okay. Jebi Mather, respond to this.
Constituent Assembly in which Dr. Ambedkar ji was heading it. Constituent Assembly approved it. Now they are questioning. Now they are questioning the decision of Constituent Assembly. Now let me also ask. They are saying about this the Muslim League of those times, which the Jairam Rameshji's tweet is very important. Which Indian leader formed a coalition in Bengal in the early 1940s with the person who moved the Pakistan resolution in Lahore in March 1940? It was Syama Prasad Mookerjee. Which Indian leader applauded Jinnah in Karachi in June 2005? It was L.K. Advani. Which Indian leader praised Jinnah in his book 2009? It was Jaswant Singh. See, what do they have to say about all this? Now, Congress party, we have always taken a very national unity, integration, and then it is a collective decision in every, whether it's working committee, whether it's constituent assembly, it is all discussed, debated, including Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and all leaders concerned. And now they are questioning our great leaders. Our great leaders, I do not mean Congress leaders. I mean great leaders of India.
You know, the question really is here, Pradeep Bhandari, about what Rajnath Singh also said, that he had said that Vande Mataram was marginalized post-independence. How do you respond to what Congress is saying? That Jan Gan Man's elevation was rightful, not a deliberate sidelining of this song.
Well, Maria, I have the following facts. Can the Congress MP even show one public statement of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in favor of the truncated version of Vande Mataram? Not a single statement. Can she show a single statement of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in favor of the truncated version of Vande Mataram? Not a single statement. In 1896, it was Gurudev Rabindranath Thakur who himself sang the entire Vande Mataram, and where the president of the Congress party at that time was a Muslim. So I want to know that if for 41 years the Hindus and the Muslims as freedom struggle, under the freedom struggle, were using that as a clarion call, what prompted Jawaharlal Nehru in 1937 to make it a Hindu-Muslim issue? Was Mr. Nehru not practicing communal politics and appeasement politics? And if that is so, the Congress party needs to apologize in 10 seconds. After independence, and let us give the benefit of doubt to Jawaharlal Nehru. But what stopped the Congress party to discuss this and have the entire version of Vande Mataram after independence? After independence, I do not believe that there was any pressure from the Muslim League. So which was the forces that the Congress party was allying to or was under pressure that it even did not thought of having the entire Vande Mataram, which was the clarion call of the freedom fighters after independence? It has taken us 70 years to at least acknowledge the contribution of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay.
Then Jebi Mather, with Rajnath Singh claiming that Vande Mataram was marginalized, why did the Congress, prioritize Jan Gan Man? The question is that, is there a response that the Congress party can necessarily give on this?
Very conveniently, the Prime Minister today in his speech did not say anything about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's letter to Nehru. The same line is being followed by the BJP spokesperson, which I'm not surprised, which is what the BJP spokesperson is, we are expecting from him. Now, regarding sidelining, where is sidelining happening? National anthem and national song. Both are emotions for us, for everyone, for every Indian. There's no religion, there is no state, there's no language we speak. It doesn't matter. For us, national song and national anthem, both are very important and both are very emotional for us. So there's no sidelining of Vande Mataram. I, as a student, remember singing Vande Mataram in school. Both national song, national anthem and national song. In every Congress meeting, we begin with Vande Mataram. In every Congress working committee session, we begin with Vande Mataram. Not just now when one particular party want to distort history and make big claims. We have been doing it genuinely for years together, years and years together. It was us, it was Congress party who brought all this into the main focus. Now they want to say that sidelining of national song. How can they even say such false statements?
Okay, Pradeep, what were you actually showing on your
One more important thing, Maria.
phone. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I wish to say, see, this agenda of bringing it is, do they discuss anything about that matters to people? Today, in all our speeches, which Priyanka Gandhi ji also said, see, do they discuss anything that matters to the people? They want to discuss only this, but we, Vande Mataram, we respect, we appreciate, but the hidden agenda of BJP is very, very clear. It is Bengal elections are coming. They want to again sow the seeds of divide and rule, which British has done many years ago. Now BJP wants to do, is what we wish to say.
Okay, Pradeep Bhandari, quickly.
It is unfortunate, Maria, that when we speak about the entire version of Vande Mataram, they look it from the point of view of divide and rule, but they will not accept that the real divide and rule and the seeds of partition was sown when Jawaharlal Nehru in 1937 agreed to truncate the version of Vande Mataram going down to the Muslim League. Point number one. Point number two, if their intention is honest, can they answer why did Sonia Gandhi not attend the 100th year celebration of Vande Mataram in 2005? If their intention is honest, can they tell us that why did the Congress party oppose schools singing the entire version of Vande Mataram in 2005? In fact, the scenario was such that the Congress party opposed it. And point number three, and again I will reiterate, she has not till now given me a public statement of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel against against full Vande Mataram. She has not given me a public statement of Rahul Gandhi in favor of Vande Mataram. Can she show me the date of the Congress meeting where the entire Vande Mataram has been sang in the last 70 years since independence? Even a single meeting, not a single meeting. If, in fact, the Bharatiya Janata Party meetings began with the entire version of Vande Mataram. And 10 seconds, another hypocrisy is exposed by this video. Recall when there was a public rally, Rahul Gandhi was there. He instructed Mr. K.C. Venugopal that he should stop Vande Mataram in between. So you had only one line of Vande Mataram being sang from the stage because Rahul was getting late. So my charge here is the following, that the Congress party for appeasement and vote down to the radical fundamentalists and the psyche of the Congress is that of the Muslim League Maoiwadi. The Congress should apologize for the mistake it made in 1937. However, the ideology of the Congress continues to go further. And in 5 seconds, this is the India Today article where the Calcutta High Court lambasted the Trinamool Congress government for converting the ancestral home of
I have a point. While we understand that this debate on 150 years did highlight some very interesting points, some interesting factoids of history as well. But, this is coming at a time when Delhi is a gas chamber. It is unbreathable. So we certainly expected politicians to also debate this in Parliament. Pradeep Bhandari.
Well, we'll do that, Maria ji. We'll definitely do that. But it is not a choice of either or. The Parliament session is on.
No, I agree. It should not be either or.
If the Congress party will not disrupt the question hour, then definitely it will happen. But the Congress has been historically disrupting
So why are you
Parliament.
disrupting question hour, Jebi Mather? These are important public-centric issues which should be taken up for discussion. Jebi Mather.
So it is very clear they don't want to discuss issues that matters to the people, as you rightly pointed out. When Delhi itself is like a gas chamber, they don't want to. After people choke to death, only they want to even initiate any conversation or debate on it. And also, let me give a reply to what he said about Rahul Gandhi stopping. And see, Rahul Gandhi has in many innumerable occasions have said Indian flag is my religion. Whether it's Indian flag, whether it's national anthem, whether it's national song, all that is very important for Rahul Gandhi ji and for all of us. Okay. So now this BJP, the Prime Minister and BJP should apologize to the nation because they have been criticizing, they have been accusing our great leaders. Our means, I reiterate, it's not our Congress leaders, the great leaders of our nation who have contributed in the
All right,
freedom
Jebi
struggle.
Mather and Pradeep
accused
Bhandari,
them,
really appreciate your
Patel
time. India's aviation nightmare stretched into its 4th day today, with IndiGo cancelling over 400 flights on Monday alone amidst a deepening pilot shortage crisis as mass sick leave protests. New rostering rules show no signs of resolution. From chaotic terminals in Delhi, Mumbai and Bengaluru, passengers face endless delays, denied boardings and futile refund battles stranded families, business travelers and tourists with IndiGo's 60% market grip, leaving few viable options amidst peak December rush. Outrage boils over on social media as well, as parents are missing school events, professionals are suffering hapless flyers, sleeping on airport floors, slamming the airlines, zero accountability despite DGCA probes into potential fatigue rule violations and retaliation claims. Rivals like Air India and SpiceJet are scrambling with 30% fare hikes on opportunistic surges, while the government fumes but offers no immediate fix, highlighting chronic crew shortage and over-reliance on one carrier. With IndiGo's normalization by tonight promise ringing hollow after repeated misses, this endless chaos begs the question: how long will passengers suffer for an aviation monopoly's mismanagement before real reforms ground the disruptions? First up the story, and then I bring in the reporter.
India's skies are in turmoil. More than 450 IndiGo flights cancelled on Monday alone as the airline's operations remained in disarray for the 7th straight day. At Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport, 134 flights cancelled, baggage piling up across terminals.
Hundreds of the bags still lying at the Delhi airport amidst the crisis triggered by the IndiGo. And the number is not actually eventually hundreds, but probably even in thousands. And that we see now the baggages are being returned by the IndiGo staff at Delhi's Terminal 1 airport. But that explains the fury and the tragedy. It was triggered by the IndiGo. Number of these baggage, perhaps such massive crisis, been seen first time in a decade that we've seen a huge number.
Bengaluru saw 127 cancellations, Hyderabad 77, Chennai 71 and Srinagar 16. IndiGo staff were seen distributing food packets to stranded passengers at the airport. The Civil Aviation Minister told the Rajya Sabha on Monday that this crisis is an operational issue created by the airline itself. The minister claimed that an example will be set not just for IndiGo but for the entire aviation industry.
We are doing an inquiry and we will take very, very strict action, not only for this situation, but also as an example. We will set an example for all the airlines. If there is any miscompliance, any non-compliance or non-adherence for any single person, any entity or any organization or any operator functioning in this civil aviation, we will take very, very strict action so that we set an example in the industry.
Political heat is rising. The opposition is demanding answers from the centre.
इतना तबाही आज एयरपोर्ट्स में हो रहे हैं, लोगों के पैसे जा रहे हैं। हमें कहा गया था कि हवाई चप्पल पहनने वाला व्यक्ति भी प्लेन पे जाएंगे, लेकिन आज प्लेन के दाम 20,000 रुपए है, कॉफी का दाम 250 रुपए है और प्लेन भी सारा डिले हो रहा है। तो हम चाहेंगे कि सरकार की तरफ से देश को संज्ञान जाए तो क्या कर रही है ये सरकार?
I have never seen this type of total stagnant situation, and it's a disaster. It's a disaster that government of India should have planned something.
From stranded travellers to political clashes, nation watches in anger and disbelief as the IndiGo meltdown continues with no clear end in sight. With Ashutosh Mishra and Amit Bhardwaj in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Amit Bhardwaj joins me from the newsroom. Amit, you spoke to Civil Aviation Minister 24 hours ago. There were promises that were made by him. There are promises coming in from the IndiGo that by the end of the day, solution will be in sight. But it appears 4 days and counting, it's going to be a harrowing experience even for those who may have booked themselves on IndiGo tomorrow.
Right, Maria. But if you look at the numbers, December 5th, 1,000 flights were cancelled. It dropped down to 850, 650, and eventually what we are given to understand by the end of the day, that is December 8th, the cancellations would be around 500, and these will be planned cancellations. So overall, IndiGo is expecting to operate 1,800 flights on December 8th itself, improving its on-time performance to 90%. Having said that, the bigger questions await CEO of IndiGo, Peter Elbers, as well as the Chief Operating Officer of the IndiGo. What we are given to understand through our sources is that IndiGo has responded to the show cause notice that was served to them by the Operations FSD Director, R.S. Jamwal, in which it was said very specifically that on prima facie it looks like non-compliance of the rules by the IndiGo, which led to this massive civil aviation disaster in the country in the first week of December. So the response has been filed. It is a highly guarded letter, that what my sources are telling me, and also that today later in the evening MOCA Secretary Sameer Sinha along with DG, DGCA and senior officials of the MOCA are most likely to deliberate on the response that has been filed by the IndiGo top officials. But along with that, more questioning for IndiGo top officials is on the cards. My sources confirming to me this week itself, the 4-member high-level committee that has been formed by the DGCA will be probing the top officials of the IndiGo, and the summons have been already served to them. So they are going to face some tough questions. The bigger question for MOCA will be whether they are going to take some stringent action against IndiGo so that a disaster of aviation industry of this sort cannot be repeated again in this country. Back to you.
It has to be exemplary in nature, and that is the only way it will deter some kind of what was being seen as blackmail by the IndiGo because of the monopoly it enjoys. Amit Bhardwaj, really appreciate your time. Let me bring in our guests. Group Captain Ajay Ahlawat joins us. Rishabh Shah is our guest also on the show. Aviation expert Sanjay Lazar and Captain Sharad Panikar is with us as well. Captain Panikar, beginning with you, from your experience as a DGCA inspector and also as a pilot, did the regulators fail to foresee risks in IndiGo's staffing approach before the November 2025 flight duty rule changes?
Good evening, Maria. I think you are spot on that, because there is no way in which both the Civil Aviation Ministry as well as DGCA was unaware of the fact that the induction rate of pilots by IndiGo was falling well short of what was the requirement to meet the shortfall that would be imposed upon them in terms of the additional pilot requirements for the implementation of the car. Do keep in mind that this car had come out on the 1st of, or rather in the beginning of January 2024, with an effective date of the 1st of July 2024. So the entire community, including the airlines and including IndiGo, was well aware of what was in store and what was the additional requirements that would have to be met in order to fulfill the conditions of the car. The fact that they went to court and then the Delhi High Court had given them a specific date for implementation of the car in 2 phases. That is, first 15 clauses by the 1st of July 2025, that is this year, and the remaining 7 clauses by the 1st of November. Everybody was aware of it. So I'm sure that the ministry was also aware of it, and I'm sure the DGCA was also aware of it. And on top of that, IndiGo has gone ahead and increased its footprint during the winter schedule. So this wouldn't have gone unnoticed either by the ministry or by the DGCA. So you're spot on that.
Yes. So the question here is, Group Captain Ahlawat, that it's perhaps known that in winter season, because of holidays and vacations, there are extra bookings, and because of the fog, there has to be extra precaution in ensuring that the entire, rostering is done keeping that in mind. So, Group Captain Ahlawat, my question is, how do you view this entire mass sick leave? Does it reflect indiscipline, or is it a legitimate fatigue protest given the chronic crew shortages that we have seen?
Good evening, ma'am. I think your information is not accurate. I don't see there is any instance of mass sick leave. The pilots had to be off-rostered because they were not legal to fly anymore because of the provisions of the car which came in force on 1st of November. As you mentioned in your opening comments, 4 days and counting, the contours of this crisis are becoming clearer now. Initially, everybody thought these are the revised norms, which the previous speaker also mentioned and gave us a little bit of details about when it was supposed to kick in and when it did kick in. The new FTTL norms kicked in on 1st of November. The crisis happened in first week of December. This needs a little bit more deliberation. Secondly, when IndiGo knew they are short of crew, they went ahead and added another additional 1,000 flights for the winter schedule. Typically they fly about 14,000 a week. They made it to about 15,000. So they knew the new car will come in force. They're adding more flights. They know they don't have the crew. And you can't train an airline pilot overnight. It takes good about 6 to 8 months to get a first officer online. A captain would take even longer. So
that's right.
There are these questions that need to be answered. And besides the very simple thing, as the flights were being cancelled, the website continued to book tickets. The least they could have done is to stop booking. These things must be investigated, in my opinion.
Okay, Sanjay Lazar, considering the thousands stranded by cancellation, do you think the adequate compensation would be what? And should airlines avoid offering vouchers that trap passengers further?
Thank you for having me, Maria. First of all, if I just may point out, you need to look at the investment calls of IndiGo Interglobe stock in June and in November. At both these meetings, the board was told that we will have no problem with the FDTL regulations. It's there in the minutes of the con call. One important thing. Second important thing is IndiGo stopped recruiting pilots, paused in June of 2025. Despite knowing that the car is coming in on the 1st of November. They ran their roster in the beginning of October for winter schedule with the 1,000 new flights, and they probably knew they wouldn't make it. They've had 1,000 flights cancelled in November. Nobody raised any alarms. Now coming to the refunds. Maria, you said day 4. It's actually day 7 if I count from the 2nd. And everybody's forgotten about passengers who got gouged on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Who is going to compensate them? Number 2, of course, the government has said from the 5th onwards, IndiGo is supposed to pay, I believe, they have issued a release saying they've paid 650 crores until yesterday. But there's a lot more that needs to be done. And like Group Captain said, the investigation has to be deeper. This 4 secretaries or 4 joint secretaries sitting on it is not going to work. According to me...
Okay, so Sanjay, since you're talking about internal planning failures, as you spoke about that con call, what are realistic timelines then for operational normalization, and can technology then play any kind of role in avoiding repeat disruptions?
Maria, the first thing that should have been done, according to me, was the DGCA should have said, you don't have so many pilots, roll back your schedule. Knock off 100, 200, 1,000, even a couple of 1,000 flights, because, you have 100 pilots, you can't expect them to do 200 people's work. You've got norms, even if you've taken waivers. So the first thing should have been roll back your schedule. Give those flights to Akasa or SpiceJet or Air India Express, which they've not done. They've given them a dispensation until February. Second thing here is, internal issues. I would say there's a lot more than meets the eye here. Because if the DGCA office and the JDG and CFOI knew about these cancellations of November, why did they let it go into December and have this cascading chaos? We've got to look at a way of bringing that 63% down under 50%. I think there has to be a restructuring of the aviation market in India. And this is the opportune moment for the government of India to take action.
Okay. Rishabh Shah, as someone who would be viewing this entire crisis, what are your thoughts, and what could youth like you do? Forums such as yours, I'm sure you're speaking to the stranded passengers and interacting with them. Do you have a story to share as well, Rishabh?
Firstly, Maria, thank you for having me. And I was keenly listening to the conversation, and it's deeply disappointing to see that, the only remarks that seem to be coming from the government is that they're going to take some action. First things first, before I say anything, the government must be commended because from 74 airports in 2014 to now, 160 plus airports that they've built. So they've done a great job. But also the as much as IndiGo is to blame, I think also the government needs to be held responsible. And the reason I'm saying this is not just because of the IndiGo crisis, but because of what I've seen at the airport. There was a young man who was at the airport. He was sitting below the stairs and he was crying. I went up to him and I asked him what happened. He said, I was going for my grandmother's funeral. I don't have enough money in order to buy another ticket. And the reason was because Air India had hiked its fares to 60 to 70,000. It was 10 times the amount that was normally there. So the man couldn't go for his grandparents' funeral. Now, it begs the question saying, how do we have one industry with 95% or 92% to 95% being divided in terms of market share between two airlines? IndiGo and Air India control that much percent of market share. So when one airline goes down, the second one cashes in, and it is crony capitalism, and the government did not do much for those few days. So therefore, that is one question. And the second thing which comes to mind is the fact that this is not just in the aviation sector. Crony capitalism is now almost all across. If you see the e-commerce sector, you've got Amazon at about 31% market share. You've got Flipkart at a 48% market share. So the way India shops is also divided between two companies.
That's a valid point here, Captain Panikkar. How do you protect passengers from what visibly is a monopolistic failure?
See, there has to be government intervention. So if you look at what Rishabh has also just brought out, it was everybody who could exploit the situation exploited it. So there should be a cap. If the government, let's say, declares that this is a crisis, and let's say they say that on so-and-so date, starting from so-and-so time, air tickets cannot go more than twice what is the original stated amount. Similarly, the same thing is applicable to hotels as well. There were hotels that jacked up their prices by 10 times. A hotel which was available in Aerocity for around 10,000 rupees a night, it shot up to 70,000. So there should be a cap on that as well. If the government were to declare that this is a national crisis, as far as this particular sector is concerned, airfares cannot go up beyond so-and-so figure, into 2, let's say. Similarly, hotels that are in and around that area that is concerned with this, let's say the hotel fares per night cannot go up, let's say, by a figure of more than into 2. So this would go a big way in alleviating this problem and not letting the people that are around there exploit the situation to their benefit.
Okay, let me give you the last word, Group Captain Alawat. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, in your previous comment, you mentioned what can tech do. Since I run a tech company now, I tell you what the tech can do. All the airlines are mandated by the ICAO rules to submit ATR forms, and they run from A, B, C, D up till N. They're called ATR forms, and DGCA collects them. And each of these forms give information, inform an Excel sheet which says, these are the resources we have, this is their training status, this is what we need to spend, this is what we need to kind of train for. All this information is as such being submitted to DGCA. In this particular case, this is not a crisis of IndiGo, it is a crisis of India's civil aviation sector. The patient was sick, the ministry waited for the patient to die, and now they're ordering compensation and post-mortem and all that. There are ways and means available. Before the DGCA approves any new schedule, route, or slots, they should map the resources. Do the resource mapping first, and then go ahead and come out with rules. So in this way, we won't have to kind of do the post-mortem. We can probably save the patient before the patient dies. And who paid the ultimate price? The citizen. They'll keep running for the refunds. Or the small guy at the counter at IndiGo, they had to answer for questions for which they were neither prepared nor trained for. So yes. I hope
I hope tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow perhaps is a better day. There's no solution is what is evident at the moment. And perhaps because that is an airline's monopoly, which is leading to a crisis of an unprecedented nature. Thank you so much for joining us, Group Captain Alawat, Rishabh Shah, Captain Panikkar, and Sanjay Lazar for their thoughts. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.